The bomb has dropped. Ilia Topuria is really going to fight for the lightweight title, and his announced opponent is none other than Charles Oliveira. The former featherweight champ, still undefeated, Ilia Topuria arrives hungry to make a statement in his new weight class, and he wasted no time firing shots at Charles Oliveira, who's determined to prove he can still reign at lightweight and is eager for a shot at the belt, which just landed in his lap. But mutual respect wasn't even close to being part of this rivalry's beginning. Topuria immediately took jabs at the Brazilian's past, calling Charles a coward and making it clear he sees him as a fighter who's used to losing and always gives up when the pressure's on. Check out now Topuria's tense statement about the Brazilian, which has already cranked the rivalry up a notch, and Charles' reaction to all these explosive updates. But first, if you can help me out, hit that subscribe button over there to support the channel. In his first bombshell, Ilia Topuria didn't hold back when breaking down Charles Oliveira. He went straight to the point, saying the Brazilian is a coward and afraid of facing adversity. According to Topuria, Charles always quits and gives up at the first sign of pressure, and for the Georgian, fighting someone with 10 losses doesn't bring the same psychological challenge as facing someone who's undefeated. Charles Oliveira, this is what I was telling you before. When you have 10 losses on your record, that's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 10. When you walk into a fight with a guy that has 10 losses, the level of confidence is completely different. It's completely different than when you walk into a fight with a guy that's undefeated. He's a dangerous guy. He's a dangerous guy. He's never tasted a loss. That's a different mentality. You're gonna have to kill him to make him give up. In the case of Charles, if he finds some adversity, he's gonna go to the ground, and he's gonna sit and he's gonna wait until the ref ends the fight. On June 28th, another dream will come true. I'll be the champion of the lightweight division. Charles, my apologies in advance. I'm just fighting for my dreams. It's unfortunate that Makhachev ran away. The statement is loaded with confidence. And with provocation, Topuria makes sure to highlight that the mindset of someone who's never lost is very different from someone who's already been defeated so many times. But he didn't stop there. Topuria also took the opportunity to respond to Charles by saying the Brazilian never achieved anything at featherweight and therefore has no right to claim that the most competitive division in the UFC is lightweight. Once again, he hinted that Charles' story of overcoming hides a fragility that can't be ignored. I gave Charles Oliveira a lot of heat. I told him the truth. He used to fight in the same division I come from, and he was never able to be world champion. He racked up a lot of losses, changed weight classes, and did pretty well. What he couldn't achieve at featherweight, he went and got it at lightweight, and then he says the toughest fights are here. But you've got 10 losses. I feel more confident at lightweight because this is the weight class I belong in. At featherweight, I had to push myself to limits that are not normal. There's no resentment that comes from the heart. Everyone's fighting for their families. I'm fighting for mine. At the end of the day, it's still a sport. We are colleagues. First and foremost, I fight for myself. It's what I've loved doing since I became aware of myself. And then obviously, I do it for my family, which is a huge driving force. Ilia Topuria didn't pull any punches and went straight for Charles Oliveira, and especially the Brazilian's past, which includes a number of losses. The Georgian is already promoting the fight in a not-so-friendly tone, and he seems completely convinced that he'll run through Charles Oliveira with ease, that victory is already in the bag. But what about the other side? How did Charles Oliveira react to the fight announcement and all the trash talk? The Brazilian answered with the calm and composure of someone who's seen it all inside the cage, but he also sent a strong warning to the Georgian. According to Charles, he plans to unleash the full power of his strikes in this fight and promises to come at Ilia Topuria more aggressively than ever before. Everyone started yelling, kids screaming, all of that. Training had just ended, No, I checked my phone and had tons of messages. I went straight to my manager right away, and that's that. Honestly, I'm not really focused on what the guys themselves are doing. My last fights have all been with this team. Obviously, I have a wonderful team that are going to analyze Topuria in every way, so we can see how we can beat him. We are currently deliberating on what our game plan could be, but our main concern is what I can bring. I know he's a tough opponent, but I know the firepower I have in my hands, and I know my kickboxing style. I'm gonna go all in on this guy like I never have before. I have a promise to fulfill, and I will go for this belt. Let's go. We're ready. 46 days to bring the belt to where it should have never left. Focus on what matters, be sharp, and make it happen. Charles shows he's locked in. He didn't bite on the trash talk, didn't respond directly to the criticism, and stayed on his path. He shows focus, experience, and leaves a clear message. He's going all in, and he's hungry to reclaim the belt. Someone else who chimed in with an opinion was veteran UFC icon Joe Rogan. Known for his technical analysis and influence, Rogan commented that even though Topuria is on fire, Charles Oliveira poses real risks to the Georgian, especially because of his reach, variety of strikes, and experience in big fights. So according to Rogan, Ilia Topuria should think twice before underestimating the Brazilian. I like Topuria versus Oliveira. Oliveira is so tall and so dangerous everywhere, though. He'd have a huge reach advantage. Those lightweights are real big, Islam's huge. Ilia is just so dangerous. He's so technical, too. The way he bobs and weaves and moves in. He's so comfortable with his head movement, he's a step ahead of everybody. Rogan acknowledges Topuria's talent, but makes a point of reminding everyone that this challenge is bigger than it looks. Charles has the tools to do damage, even against someone as technical as Ilia. And when Joe speaks, a lot of people listen. Wrapping it up with someone who took a direct jab at the UFC, Josh Thompson, former fighter and analyst, didn't like the UFC's decision to give Charles the title shot. In his view, Arman Tsarukyan was the more deserving name, and he sees no logic in the organization's move. This is what I want to know. How did you end up with Charles and not Arman Tsarukyan? He's the #1 contender. I can understand them UFC being upset. But now that Islam is gone, that fight has disappeared. He's still the #1 contender. Ilia coming up, guaranteed or promised the title shot. I just want to see the two guys from Georgia fight. Thompson reflects the sentiment of a portion of MMA fans, saying the rankings should have prevailed. In this case, but all signs point to the UFC choosing the bigger name, not the higher-ranked one. UFC 317 is already shaping up to be an all-out war, inside and outside the octagon. On one side, Ilia Topuria, undefeated, full of confidence, provocative, and believing he's ready to dominate 2 divisions. On the other, Charles Oliveira, experienced, aggressive, technical, and determined to reclaim the belt that was once his. Topuria thinks Charles is used to losing, and Charles believes Topuria has never felt pressure like the one he's about to face. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan warns that this fight will be way tougher than the Georgian expects, and reminds everyone of the danger Charles Oliveira brings every second of the fight. The question is, how will this fight between Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria end? Did the UFC make the right choice picking Charles Oliveira for this title shot? Drop your opinion in the comments so we can talk about it. If you're really into MMA and want to stay on top of everything happening in the fight world, it's definitely worth checking out these other 2 videos popping up on your screen. They're super important, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy them and stay well informed on all the latest MMA news. If you liked this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button to help spread the content, and see you next time.